For those of you that have been around since 2023, you might remember that my first YouTube video was on the VTA light rail, and honestly, I haven't really been back to this station since. But remember when I said that there would be a 2.4 mile long extension into Eastside San Jose, and that construction was starting very, very soon? Well, my friend, construction has begun, and it's starting right here at Alum Rock Station. So stay tuned for the 2.4 mile long VTA Orange Line extension into Eastside San Jose. To all my lovely patrons, I am beyond honored to have all your support, and so of course I'm going to shout all of you out. To George A. Vitesse, Jay Tanner, Damon Ibarra, my Patreon you know, Tony Stuntz, Geezer Windbag, Jake Brabick, Carlos DeLuca, and Flatlander, I hold you all in deep gratitude. So thank you. As a refresher, and for those who don't know, Eastside San Jose, the easternmost part of Silicon Valley, will be home to the nation's newest light rail extension in 2028, a year earlier than expected. None of the right-of-way will cross the street and will instead go above major roads through rail-only bridges. The 2.4 mile-long extension will go to two new stations that are being constructed at Story Road and at Tully Road near the Eastridge Transit Center and Mall. In this video, I'm going to do something I've never done before and analyze a transit corridor that's actively under construction. I'll also look at the areas around here, which are the heartbeat of the Eastside San Jose community, and look to be amazing complements to the two brand new stations come 2028. The VTA Orange Line is one of three light rail lines serving Santa Clara Valley Transportation Authority's light rail system, or the VTA Light Rail. It spans all the way from downtown Mountain View through North San Jose and Milpitas, where it connects with BART, and down south to Eastside San Jose at the Alum Rock Station. But since 2004, this has been the Orange Line's terminus. But even before the station was built just over 20 years ago, there had already been plans to extend the system southward all the way down to Capitol Expressway and Tully Road, just right of the Eastridge Mall. That's why I was so excited when I attended the groundbreaking ceremony on June 10th, 2024 for the VTA Light Rail extension. And back then, I honestly had no idea how much this corridor would change with light rail. The project was originally expected to open up in 2029, but almost unheard of in the public transit community, it's actually going to open up a year earlier in 2028. And it's expected to cost just over $650 million. Yeah, that's coming up super soon, and I'll show you just how much construction has actually been going on as of January 2026. First, I'll be starting off at the current terminus at Alum Rock Station. The extension starts just south of the station, running in the middle of Capitol Avenue at grade before rising above Capitol Expressway and running in the median of this massive 6-lane arterial. So this right here is where the 2 mile long viaduct is actually going to start, on the intersection of Capitol Avenue, just behind me, and Capitol Expressway, just ahead. If you're confused by that, don't worry, you're not alone. As you can see right here, the train is gonna come up, rise up around here, and then it's gonna coast for another couple of miles, and you'll see way more columns, and I promise, this is just the start. You don't wanna miss it. The area is pretty residential until Story Road, with a key commercial strip mall called Crossroads Shopping Center on the corner of Capitol Avenue and Capitol Expressway, offering a variety of businesses. We're here at the Crossroads Shopping Center, just 700 feet away from the Alum Rock VTA Light Rail Station. There is a lot of construction literally just across the street. Please don't be afraid to support these businesses, even during construction. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump away from the light rail, and I hope and I pray that people that take the Orange Line do support these local businesses. I mean, you have a taqueria, auto insurance company, taxes, whatever you name it, laundromat. These are super important to the community, and please don't miss out in your support of all of these local businesses. Now we're well above Capitol Expressway at its notoriously busy intersection with Story Road. At this intersection, car-brained business owners took advantage of the super car-dependent area, and there are not only 2 gas stations, but also an AutoZone, car wash, and a car rental agency. And you'll see later on the many lanes needed to move all of these cars in Eastside San Jose. From east to west, about 10 lanes at points.
Around here, congestion on Capitol Expressway is so bad that they actually had to build these kind of like side roads right here. So in total, just around Story Road, you're getting about 10 total lanes left to right of just straight through traffic. This gargantuan structure right behind me is going to be the Story Road Station on the corner of Capitol Expressway and of course Story Road. This is going to open up in 2028. So all the viaducts up from Alum Rock are basically going to lead all the way up to here. And as you can see, I like the weird, like kind of wavy, flowy design. It looks kind of like a bunch of little waves. I've never in my life been able to show you a legit construction project as we're seeing right here on Story Road and Capitol.
So upon first glance, this isn't really an area welcome to pedestrians coming from the train, which is why VTA is putting in some measures with a future elevated station, like 2 pedestrian bridges and sets of elevators and stairs that will seamlessly get people from Story Road into the station.
So this is going to be where the elevator / stair platform is going to lead up to an eventual pedestrian bridge for people to access the Story Road station. Funny enough, what they actually did is through the power of eminent domain, they went and took a part of the parking lot of this convenience store, and VTA was like, you know what, that's mine now, I'm taking that. And they went ahead and built these 2 pillars right here. This plaza is where people will have to make sure their tickets are in order, they're in check, and of course they're gonna climb up right through here and go over Story Road and eventually access the system.
Besides these auto-centric businesses on the actual intersection, if you walk deeper into the neighborhood, you'll find a surprising amount of density. These apartments, all on Colmar Drive, from K&K to Taylor Oaks, provide hundreds of units for residents and will just be steps away from the Story Road station come 2028. Other than these apartments, the area around the station is still dominated by very single-family zoned homes that are kind of choked off by Capitol Expressway. With the exception of the sprawling Foxdale Village apartments on the left of the overpass and a dialysis clinic, there's still just a bunch of residential zoning around Tully Station. In fact, about 90% of the area in between Tully and Story is pretty much zoned residential single family. And if there wasn't enough poor land utilization to go around, there's even the Reed Hillview Airport just north of the future Eastridge station.
Speaking of which, yeah, that's a plane. This is an airport. This eyesore right behind me is 180 acres of a county airport that honestly is not relevant anymore and should not exist. This takes up prime real estate in Eastside San Jose, and this, along with Eastridge Center, could be homes to thousands of people.
On the northeast corner, though, of Capitol Expressway and Tully, you do have something you can actually visit and is worth your while, which is Lake Cunningham Regional Park. Here, of course, you can walk around the namesake Lake Cunningham, visit Raging Waters, which is now called like Calabunga. I'm still going to call it Raging Waters. And you can check out NorCal's largest skate park. All right, and we're finally here at the future terminus of the VTA light rail at Tully Station.
So here we are at the future site of the Eastridge Transit Center VTA light rail station. We're here just on the corner of Tully Road and Capitol Expressway. What's super great about this station is that it will be at grade, and it's going to serve the Eastridge Transit Center, which is already a huge transit hub.
What I already like about Eastridge Transit Center is that it's a really well integrated system. I mean, it has a plethora of bus lines in the plaza, including the Rapid 522 line, which goes all the way to Palo Alto.
So this right here is the 522 bus service. This is right outside of the Alum Rock Station, and as you can see, this is basically a parallel to what the VTA Light Rail Orange Line extension is going to try to replace.
And from the bat, Tully has a lot more around it than Story Road. Sure, you do have a couple of car dealerships, but the big elephant in the room and its namesake is the Eastridge Mall. This mall is the biggest attraction and the busiest part of Eastside San Jose. It's a massive titan with 150 stores, and I could not think of a better anchor for a transit station. And you're probably thinking, Todd God, this is like any other generic mall with a sea of parking on the outside. And you're absolutely correct. Eastridge was built in 1971, so it still follows that car-centric design plan that was prevalent in those days. But the real fun begins just south of Eastridge Mall. Welcome to Evergreen Circle. This area was just 80 acres of straight nothing, a big flat lot. Then a developer took notice and built a whole new neighborhood and shopping center. And look, they did a good job of integration in terms of the green space and parks and overall look. I think it's a really nice looking area. But they're all single family townhomes, and with those townhomes come at the very least 260 new cars. Because this neighborhood, with all its bells and whistles, wide sidewalks, parks, green space, it's not that walkable in the grand scheme of things. I mean, look, you have a Costco business center and you have a Raising Cane's with like a fish grill, and that's great and all. But it's just like any other generic strip mall that's been built ever. But look, let's say I lived on one of these streets, right? And I lived in this area, and I wanted to take the train up to BART and eventually BART over to wherever BART takes you. I could not walk feasibly to the Eastridge Transit Center. I mean, I could, but it's 3,600 feet away. I'm not in my right mind going to constantly make that walk, and it's boring. It's through an asphalt parking lot. It's just not walkable. In conclusion, this 2.4 mile long extension is something that Eastside San Jose has needed for a long time. And the fact that it took 2 decades to plan shows just how excited I am and many other people in the area are to finally have rapid public transit in Eastside San Jose. Capitol Expressway is a massive congestion magnet and traffic nightmare, and the more options, the better. But I'm mainly showing this construction as a way to persuade people that yes, VTA is actually doing something about light rail extensions. This is the first such extension in 20 years, over 20 years. And everything is going to change for the better. Trust me. But yeah, that's the video. Thank you so much if you made it this far. I look forward to hearing more about this extension as time progresses. And of course, I'll give you more Bay Area content coming up very soon. Take care.
Fuck it. Should be good, right?